So, Palestine was once part of Egypt. The Egyptians annexed it and did horrible things to the Palestinians. So then there was a war between Israel and Egypt. And Egypt gave up all of the area that is now modern Palestine. The Israelis have retreated from the border on no less than 7 separate occasions. Yes, they're giving up their own territory, but no, they're not giving it to the Palestinians. This is the rocket buffer zone. When the rockets were able to go a couple of 100 yards, the buffer zone was twice that distance. When the Hamas rockets, or I should say Palestinian rockets, because there's 3 different governments in Palestine. 2 of them vying for power right now, one of them being Hamas. The third one kind of fell off. They still exist, they just aren't as active. Now the Palestinians, they got the money for all them rockets, right? There was a lady on one of the interviews today was talking about how because of the Israelis, because of the Israelis, everything is always because of the Israelis. It's always the Israelis' fault. The men and their families spend money to make rockets. How much money does it cost to make 2,000 rockets? And we're talking about rockets that will go literally miles. That's right. Why did the buffer zone between Israel and Palestine go from being 400 yards long to being almost 30 miles wide? Because of the range of the rockets. Instead of taking more territory, the Israelis give up a little more territory. So if Hamas starts launching rockets that'll go 400 miles, are the Israelis just going to keep on retreating until there's just 2 little tiny bubbles? Because that's about the equivalent of what it would be. A couple of little bubbles of Israel. Now, after the Israelis beat the shit out of the Egyptians, they ended up with Palestine and said, all right, well, guess what? You're your own nation. The Palestinians said, nope, you need to give us everything back. All of our land, it's all ours, ours, ours. You have occupied our land. You have no rights to Jerusalem. And that's what the argument is over. It's over fucking Jerusalem. So today, the leader of Hamas, as well as one of the Israeli generals, were both spoken with. The leader of Hamas wanted to sidestep the civilian casualties and the civilian targeting, but one thing that y'all fail to realize is Hamas has already declared every Israeli as a combatant. According to Hamas, there are no Israeli civilians. Now, obviously, the show that I was watching is very biased. It's very Christian-based. And, of course, it's evangelical Christian. What does that mean? It means they support Israel no matter what, because God ordained it. God wills it. The same excuse that Saladin and the Crusaders both used at the same time. Saladin said that God wills it. The Crusaders said God wills it. Looking at the mess that conflict created, I don't think God was on either side. The Palestinians won't stop killing Israelis until all Israelis are gone. They have stated this time and again. What they want is for all Israelis to move. They don't care where. They just don't want any Jews in their territory. That's right. They don't want any Jews in their territory. Not sure if you noticed, but Israel is actually the underdog. See, much like the United States likes to fight with Russia through other countries. What, you think anybody in the United States, in our government anyway, actually gives a fuck about Kiev? No, they don't. They want an arena to test out their new toys. Ain't life grand? Anyway, I'm gonna go across the street here. I'm gonna try to panhandle up a little more gas money. I'd like to go up the mountain and get my stuff and bring it back down. The United States is a lot like Hamas. They attack civilians and then play victim. Oh, poor us, poor us. Oh, well, we're just retaliating for all of the people that are in prison. What are they in prison for? For blowing up fucking civilians, asshole. Fuck Hamas. Hamas are not the underdogs. They have help and assistance from nearly every Muslim nation. According to Hamas, every Israeli settlement is a fortress. These are all military targets because no Jewish civilian is considered a civilian to Hamas. As a result, war crimes that are committed by Hamas are ignored by the international community. Actual war crimes. Let me show you the difference between what Israel is doing and what Hamas is doing. Sorry, I'm going to have to try to do this right-handed. Let me find my sock. I got a sock to help hold it together. Fuck it, we'll try it this way anyway. So this is how it works. This is how the Israelis set up their defenses. Alright, you've got an outer wall. No, that's not going to work. Sorry, I can't press down very well. You got an outer wall, right? Like the wall that we see the bulldozer knocking down today. Within that wall, there's settlements. There's a settlement here, one here, smaller one over here, a couple small ones over here, maybe a big one over here. Starting to look like a crater of the moon, isn't it? Now, how do they set up their military? Well, first of all, because it's the settlements that are being attacked, they do have military personnel at every settlement. At least military police. I don't mean military police like police who tell military personnel what to do. I mean people who are in the military who are the police. Because they do encounter actual terrorism. It's not like here in the United States where they're killing a black man for smoking a fucking cigarette. And now in between, there's airstrips and military bases. More than one. But the military bases are clearly marked as military bases. They are separate from the villages and towns that are there. Now let me show you how Hamas sets up theirs. Here's the school, right? Sorry, my hand isn't very good at holding the pen at the moment. So here's your school, right? Here's your playground, right? Alright, so you've got rockets set up on tripods right outside of the school. Then you've got a shopping mall where lots of people go. Just inside of the parking garage here, you got rockets on tripods. Just outside, rockets on tripods. They are firing rockets from civilian locations. And then, of course, we get to hear Palestine. Oh, well, yeah, sure, Hamas was shooting rockets. It wasn't us Palestinians, it was Hamas doing it. And the Israelis are such horrible people for bombing a mall. They were specifically targeting civilians. Well, no, they're not. They're specifically targeting Hamas. And if you just seen Hamas firing a fucking rocket from a mall, you should probably get the fuck away from that mall as quickly as possible, unless you're a fucking idiot, because Israel is not going to stand for that. Y'all ought to be thankful that it's the newer, kinder Israel. There used to be a time back in the 80s when the Israelis would just bomb the fuck out of everything. You walk into Tel Aviv and you blow yourself up at a public market. Then one of the other martyrs in your brigade, 20 minutes later, when there's a bunch of first responders, blows himself up. Right? So what does Israel do? Bombs the living fuck out of everything surrounding them. How dare you? They didn't care if it was a military target at that point. It's close enough. Now Israel tries real hard to only bomb specifically strongholds held by the specific Palestinian government that they're fighting at the time, which they're fighting with 3 different ones. As soon as they make an agreement with one, the other 2 are pissed off. Israel just can't win. Expending rockets isn't fixing anything. Goddamn, I wish I could find my Kleenex. Fuck it. Alright, let's get out there and panhandle for a bit. Hopefully I'll make enough to get back up to the goddamn mountain and do some more work. In the least, I should be able to find some tobacco. I should probably put up my sunshade so I don't come back to a car that's 4,000 fucking degrees. Oh. It doesn't work out great, but it's better than nothing. Ugh. 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 Got it hold and keep the nastiness out, but it don't look like it's gonna hold. Look at this here bag of clothes that help hold it in place. Close enough. Oh yeah. Somebody's calling me or messaging me. I got it on silent notifications at the moment, but that wasn't exactly silent. One of the things about this electronic stuff is that I had to have help with it. But my understanding of logistics is pretty good. If you go through Trash to Treasures and Airplane Enthusiasts, you'll get to see that I spoke up about drone bombing. You'll get to see the paragliders. The thing is, Hamas showed what it is that the United States could have done. And look at how much money they spent on those toys to go do that. And how many of those Palestinians are corpses now? Most of them. Most of them are dead now. It's been well over a half a day since the attack started, and Israel is very good about mopping up. The video I was watching earlier showed a lot of bodies. The guy who was in charge of Hamas wanted to sidestep the question when it came to targeting the civilians. And the lady wanted to basically try to make the Hamas guy out to be some sort of a horrible monster. But then when the Israelis were talking about it, she had to try to lead on the situation, as they always do, don't they? Lead it on that it's, oh, well, you know, civilian losses are an unfortunate byproduct of war. So she sold it differently for Hamas than she did for the Jews. I think it's wrong either way. But instead of misleading the public, why don't they educate the public on how this fucking situation got started? The Jews bought a bunch of land in Palestine and agreed to live in Palestinian rule. Then World War II happened. Most of those Jews were killed. There was a lot of land that was bought by Jews. And after World War II, those Jews tried to settle. The Palestinians killed them by the thousands, wiped out an entire settlement to the man. Apparently that settlement still exists. It's still in Israel. And all of the bodies have been left there. Because since the 1940s. 1946. His drone went flying off. On the bright side, you don't have an RPG warhead attached to that.
No shit. What the fuck was that? Fucking bumped a button on here and it just fucking fell.
Whoa. Oh, there's that kitty cat. Hamas is whooping some ass. Now, I'm not going to say that I orchestrated these attacks. I had nothing to do with them. But I did see this coming. You go through my Facebook and my YouTube, you'll notice I've spoken up about this before, and how lucky we are. How lucky we are that these terrorists haven't figured out yet how to do these. Oh, phew, well, they figured it out, didn't they? They figured out how to use the drones in exactly the way I was worried about. You can use them to find people, or you can use them to hurt people. And I speak up about both. My side is falling apart. Now, Hamas ain't just screwing around with stuff they've seen on TV. This stuff takes a while to put it together. They've been launching rockets for a long time now. They've been using drones militarily for surveillance, just like anybody else has. 20 dudes with drones here in the United States could wreak a lot of havoc, especially if they're highly motivated and practiced. One of the things you might have noticed on my page is the paragliders. Yo, that's the modern equivalent of airborne. Bless you. Modern equivalent of your airborne rangers. Modern equivalent of parajumping or parachute is those paragliders. You could drop them from 20,000 feet. Oh my God. Or you could take off from the ground. They're pretty cool looking contraptions. Some of the newer ones they got actually have hooks on them. Guess what the hooks are for? I'll give you a hint. It's not for hurting people. Somebody had the great idea of taking aircraft carriers and designing them like an LST, that's a landing ship tank, where you can ballast them and sink them into the water a bit. Now, why is this? The idea of midget submarines resurfaced in the 1980s, again in the late 90s, and then again in 2014. One of the things that aircraft carriers are having to do now is to be a mobile platform and mobile base for fighting global terrorism. But who are the terrorists? Yeah, Hamas was a terrorist group. So is the United States government. So is the U.S. military. They establish power and control through fear, through terror. That's exactly what Hamas was doing. And what are the Israelis doing? They're making it too terrifying to attempt such a thing. Either leave them alone or they're going to blow you up. Pretty simple. Leave them alone or they blow you up. Now, how glad are you that I don't choose to live like that? Imagine if I blew up everybody who didn't leave me alone. It's quite a thought, isn't it? Imagine if, instead of being a peaceful person, if I decided to blow up Andrew Wolnez. Obviously, I didn't choose to blow anyone up. Obviously, I haven't blown anyone up. No matter how much people have told me they deserve to be shot, they deserve to be blown up, they deserve to be whatever. lady is sure interested in something over here. I wonder what it is. Surely can't be me. I ain't that good looking. Anyway, when it comes to Hamas and the United States, and Israel for that matter, it's all terrorism. It's all about scaring people into doing what you want. Oh my God, there's someone I like over there. I probably shouldn't go talk to him, but I'm gonna. You know, you wouldn't think people would need incentive for common sense, but I literally paid a guy $2 this morning not to light up a joint in front of your gas containers there.
People got death wishes, I guess.
They do, but I was standing next to him at the time. Morning, Brandon. I saw you over here, decided I didn't want to screw up your whole break, but I was going to say hello.
Oh, you're good. I just got out here. I'm hanging out for a little bit, but I'm out of here in like 25 minutes, hopefully.
I might come ask you then.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't trying to be sexist, but I also don't want to assign you the wrong gender if I'm going to assign a gender at all.
I identify as a AH-64 Apache helicopter.
Oh my God! I'm an AH-1G. You call me a Cobra, baby.
Let's go.
The very first attack helicopter. Although they weren't the first ones to try it.
I'm a bigger fan of the Huey Warthog over the Apache, to be honest. The Vietnam choppers, they just had a look to them.
They did. I like the slicks, I do, but them AH-1Gs, just the dolphin look that they have to their fuselage.
Yeah, there's some cool looking stuff out there. I went to the Air Museum here in town. Those planes, awesome. So cool. I had a blast there.
How much is it to go?
Like $10, I think.
Man, I will mug 10 midgets for a piece.
Honestly, no, it's worth it. It's really cool to check out.
Well, it's not worth it to the midget.
Who does about that?
Well, I'll come harass you when you're done.
Sounds good.
Alright, I gotta walk it out. I'm gonna cramp the fuck up. Oh my God! Oh my God, I can't go anywhere without you white people showing up.
Oh, hell no. I'm far from white, bro. My skin may be white, but we're not white.
I may look white, but internally I'm just a buffoon.
A little bit.
Oh, there's one. Alright, so there's this lady who comes out and smokes these. She usually smokes right there, so this isn't one of hers. But 5 or 6 of these and I can roll myself another cigarette. Alright, so I'm not real big on the Apache. I don't like the look of it. I also don't like the bulkiness of it. I mean, kind of the idea behind the AH-1G is that it doesn't have a bunch of bulky bullshit hanging off of it every goddamn place. That's exactly what the Apache's got going on. A bunch of extraneous crap strapped to extraneous crap. How do you take out American equipment? It's a real easy one. You don't need a 17-mile Hamas rocket to get to American anything. All you need is a cheap $49.99 drone. Just fly it into the right place. Sure, you may not completely destroy anything. You may not, but then again, you may. Now, if you're gonna be carrying around a 2.5-pound projectile head from a RPG-7, that's literally what they're doing. All right, these guys, it's not just the fronts of the RPG-7. For the most part, they're just dropping little fucking 40mm grenades. Dropping grenades. We're talking about the kind, not the kind that's a hand grenade that you drop. Those are heavy. No, we're talking about the little dinky ones. The ones that we fire like it's out of a gun. Let's see. Crisis text line send home to 74174. Huh. That's an interesting thing to paint on a rock. Anyway, what are we going to do about Hamas? Well, we're not going to do anything. Hamas isn't after us. Like with all of these conflicts, they're not after us. They're not doing nothing to us. They don't fucking care about us. Hamas doesn't care about its own people either. What it cares about is killing Israelis, and that's it. See, Israel has tried to comply with every demand that the Palestinians have asked for, but with 3 separate governments, each one of them throwing a tantrum if any of the other governments are given any sort of legitimacy from Israel, and all of them calling for the complete eradication of the Israeli state. Now, this is a tough thing to deal with. Me, I'm a Russian, German, and Hebrew ancestry, so, I mean, really, whose side am I going to pick based on ancestry? None. I don't agree with any of them. But what I do agree with is protecting yourself, your home, and your families, which is exactly what the Israelis are doing. It's also the illusion or delusion that's being sold to the Palestinian people. Oh, you're protecting your homes, you're protecting your families. It's the Israelis who did it. The Israelis did it. It's the Israelis' fault. Over and over and over again, they pound this stuff into their own kids' heads. How many of them want to go back and take a look at what the Israelis did when Egypt owned them? That's right. The Egyptians wanted to control every single aspect of Palestinian life. Lucky for the Palestinians, the Egyptians were stupid and started a war with Israel and got beaten like redheaded stepchild. What happened after that? Well, it don't take a rocket science to figure it out. The Israelis gave Palestine to the Palestinians, said, this is yours. You can have it, you can keep it. It is yours. And the Palestinians wouldn't take it. They would accept nothing short of Israel itself and its eradication. Nothing short of complete and total possession of their holiest site. No, I'm not talking about Mecca. I'm talking about the Temple Mount. I'm talking about where, well, we don't need to go into any of that story, do we? Mecca is a holy site for all Muslims. So is Israel, especially Jerusalem. I've taken a little bit of a walk. I did stop and try to pause for a few minutes. I did go talk to a gentleman. I didn't exactly do all the panhandling I said I was going to do, did I? So what are we going to do about these Hamas rockets? Nothing. They're not being launched at us. We don't have Palestinians building rockets in their backyards here in the United States and launching them at Congress. We don't have to worry about that. What we do have to worry about is the United States pissing people off to the point that they're willing to do this shit. How many Americans do you think would become terrorists if they had the funding of a country like Iran? Hamas has the funding of Iran. That means that they can afford to get paragliders. Now, I was going to make paragliders. Not that any of y'all gave a shit, but I had myself a shop outside Boulder, Colorado, specifically with the intent of building things like paragliders. That's right. But I don't have real friends. I don't have good friends. I certainly don't have Palestinian friends. You know, the kind that if you're harmed, they'll fight for your right to be treated like a human being. Goddamn, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Many of us would love that. Instead, we got shitty families here in the United States who are of the every man for himself mentality. That's primarily white society. Why am I assigning that to a skin color? Because that's how we've segregated it as a nation. The whites versus everyone else. And why does it gotta be like that? When you teach every black person that when they do something wrong, just blame the whites. And you teach every woman, every time something doesn't go her way, just blame men. You end up with a nation that, well, is run by bullies. How many men that I know who talk about how big, buff, rough, and tough they are? How many of them are owned by a woman? The majority. They are a possession. And that's what the law has done to men. Made us possessions that aren't allowed to defend ourselves, aren't allowed to protect ourselves, aren't allowed to speak up. And god damn it, good luck shutting me the fuck up. I don't care about the law because the law doesn't care about the law. Am I willing to pick up a rifle and go shoot Palestinians because I've got Hebrew ancestry? Fuck no. Am I willing to pick up a med kit? Yeah. But if I pick up a med kit for Israel and there's a Palestinian down on the battlefield, yeah, I do believe in helping out my enemies, same as myself, same as my friends. I don't want you to die. I just want you to stop fucking shooting at people, stupid. And that's something none of you dumb fucking cunts understand. Or even try to. You live in fucking video games and your own goddamn fantasy world. So they pulled in Gaza and the West Bank. Paragliders. My question is, did they have to abandon them once they got there? They have to get back out on foot. The other question, why is security so lax in Israel? Because the Israelis thought they were at peace. Benjamin Netanyahu. Y'all know who that is? He said they're in a state of war. Do you know how long it's been since Israel declared a state of war? Over 2,000 rockets. 2,000 rockets. Over 3,000 altogether today. The last time there was a major rocket attack, there was about 4,000 rockets fired over a 10-day period. What happened? The same thing that always happens when you fuck with Israel. They bombed those fucking people out of existence. You don't want the Israelis bombing a fucking schoolyard? Well, here's a plan. Don't let Hamas fire rockets from a schoolyard. Here's another plan. If Hamas fires rockets from a fucking school that your fucking kids attend, pull your kids the fuck out of school. You already know that Hamas was firing rockets from your fucking school. You already know that the Israelis are going to literally bomb the fuck out of every goddamn site that launched a goddamn rocket. Can they tell it's a fucking school from the air? No, but they can tell you fired some fucking rockets. Y'all ever fired a rocket? Many of y'all have fired Estes rockets. You know what those look like. But an Estes rocket doesn't travel 17 miles. The newest rockets from Hamas can apparently go up to 28 miles. The Israelis are going to stop retreating further into their own territory here soon and just say, fuck it, we're going to mop the floor with these people. They're going to eventually say, all right, enough is a fucking enough. We have moved multiple settlements. We have over a dozen settlements in Israel from the last decade. Full of houses. Houses that people built. Houses that people poured their hearts, their lives, and their money into. Only to be told by the Israeli government that they have to move because the people that are slaughtering them with rockets are being appeased by the Israeli government yet again. And that's how it keeps going. Hamas bombs Israel. Israel bombs Hamas back, says we're going to retaliate. We're not going to let you kill our people. Oh, but we'll pull our people back. We'll cede to your demands a little bit. They're just making the buffer zone bigger. Eventually, when Israel gets sick of that shit, they're going to say, hey, we've got 3 settlements right there in the Gaza Strip. These 3 settlements, 90% of the rockets coming in come from those 3 settlements. Y'all got 48 hours to clear out. Men, women, and children, you got 48 hours to get the fuck out of that town before we level the goddamn thing. And that is the next step. Palestine has its own fucking country. Palestine is its own individual nation. Palestine is not occupied by Israel. If you want to invade Israel with rockets, they'll invade you with troops, rockets, bombs, whatever they have at their fucking disposal. Leave them the fuck alone. You think you'd learn that after the 6 Days War? You think you'd learn that after the 10 Days War? Oh, but they don't call that a war, do they? How about Yom Kippur War? How many wars have there been? And Israel always does the same thing. Mops the floor. Meanwhile, I can't talk too much shit on Hamas or the Palestinian people for doing nothing, because I live in the United States and I see the United States people doing nothing. What does a pretty white girl want? Is she between the ages of 18 and 35? We'll give her what she wants. Or she will terrorize you, and her friends will terrorize you, and her boyfriend will terrorize you. Give her what she wants, or your life will become hell. That's what we've taught American men. We taught them that it's not okay to have any balls. You have to, literally, you have to pretend to be a homosexual or a transvestite in this country. That's right, you have to pretend to be one of those people in order to hopefully have rights, because your rights in this country no longer depend on right from wrong, no longer depends on the evidence itself. What it depends on is what women think. What's a woman's opinion? What the Palestinians want, they're never going to get. The Israelis have no other home to go to. Kind of like Native Americans saying, oh, well, we should kick all the white people out. Good luck. There's more of us than there is of you, and we have nowhere to go. Meanwhile, we're standing up to the United States government. Are you? We're taking a pummeling out here for your fucking rights. What are you doing about it? You're complaining that white people aren't doing enough. In Hardin, Montana, how many of the missing people have been linked to white folks? The majority of them were killed by their own people, while their own people continue to blame whites. It's the whites' fault. We're certain that it's white people coming through and raping and killing our women. And then, lo and behold, nearly every single time, it's not white people who did it, is it? No, it's not. If you live in a predominantly white neighborhood, chances are pretty good that the person who victimized you is white. If you live in a predominantly black neighborhood, chances are pretty good that the person who victimized you is black. If you live in a predominantly Native American community, chances are pretty good that your perpetrator is Native American. It's not all white people's fault. We can blame Hamas for whatever the hell we want, but that's not going to make it true. God, I need to find my goddamn Kleenex. I'm tired of blowing my nose in my shirt. Alright. Let's take off my badge in public so that we don't have piggies pretending like I'm trying to impersonate a piggy. Some guy calling himself Keebler Elf, he's one of my harassers and stalkers. He's made multiple accounts on Facebook and on YouTube to harass me, and now he just keeps typing over and over and over again. What a douchebag. Not that it matters. You guys egg this shit on. You're disgusting. Is there anything on this planet more disgusting than an American? It's a good question. What have you done to help? Have you tried looking at the truth? Have you tried looking at both sides? Have you tried looking at the evidence? Have you tried speaking out? No, you don't give two shits. It's the American way, isn't it? Well, how many times has he typed? Every one of those beeps is all from the same dude. The guy calling himself Keebler Elf. I got a bunch of these fucking trolls. Not that any of you give a fuck, because it's not happening to you. And if it does happen to you, well, you show what cowards you really are. That's right. Well, you tell me just to let it go, just to forget about it. I take abuse, actual abuse, every day. While you pretend that I might hurt you. Really? Because I haven't hurt any of you. I haven't assaulted any of you. Now, as far as if you're hurt by me telling the truth, maybe you should have come forward and told the truth to begin with, instead of making me do it. You're pissed off that I recorded the fact that I went to you for help? That you outright lied to me? That you lied to others about me? That you intentionally misled the situation? Well, you go ahead and be as pissed off as you want. I don't owe it to you to bullshit you, to sugarcoat it. Anybody who supports the United States of America is a fucking moron. No joke. I don't support the veterans, and I don't support the soldiers. I support human rights. And homeless humans aren't considered humans in the United States. You can tell a lot about a culture by how it treats the most at risk of its society. How are the disabled, the homeless, and men treated by our society? I got like 13% battery. Yep. That ain't a whole lot. That'll get me about 20 minutes worth of panhandling done. Meanwhile, nobody stops to understand. Nobody. I tell them about the conditions that I live in. They don't fucking look. They don't fucking care. They blow off and dismiss everything that I say. Kind of like Hamas blows off and dismisses the Palestinians who don't want any part of this fucking war. You think parents in Palestine actually want to send their kids to schools that Hamas was firing rockets from? No, they fucking don't. Anyway, let's get back to panhandling. I made $5 today. Had a few other things happen. Tried to run an errand for a feller. The place was closed. It happens. Let's go fly a sign. Hope we don't get messed with too much. Maybe I'll get there in time to see Brandon when he gets off work. Maybe he's already off of work and went home. We'll see. It's Saturday, so it's not a great day for making money, but it's better than most days of the week. Sunday is the best day, though. thing that sucks about only hearing one little part of a song is that it gets stuck in my head. And then I got that one little part of the song on repeat.
Yes, we will. Oh, we absolutely will. No. No, you won't. Oh my Lord. Yes. Yes. Get up. Usually I stand on the corner there, but my back is killing me. So I'm sitting down on the curb.
There's a woman who works here at Safeway named Krista. There's a guy who she says is her stalker. So she doesn't try to turn him in, but she talks about him stalking. If it's bad enough that you're telling people about it, then you need to turn it into the police. All right, instead of slandering his name to everybody around, which is what it is when you don't try to turn it in. At least I try to turn it in, but none of you try to understand the safety issues. Not a goddamn one of you give a shit. All these people who want to pretend that they might be targeted. I have been targeted. I've been abused nonstop since 2015. This abuse didn't start with Natalie Bollinger. It started with me hurting my back. And every single person, literally every single person who ever pretended to fucking care about me showed they didn't give a holy fuck about me. Once I was no longer able to do free shit for them all the goddamn time, I no longer existed. There's not a single person I know that I don't think of as a piece of shit. I can't think of any of you as good people because you'll look away as long as it's not happening to you. You will allow someone to be repeatedly harmed by your community and you will look the other way. You will tell the victim that it's his fault for being there, that he should move. The United States is a disgusting place, and the American people are as disgusting as the government. Because the American people will watch you get raped. The American people will complain about their problems, but won't lift a goddamn finger to stop it. When you tell them about the abuse that you're going through and the help that you need stopping it, they're not going to help you stop the abuse. They're going to whine about their problems. And these are people who aren't going to lift a finger to get themselves out of their trap, let alone help you. So when you start telling somebody about abuse because you're trying to get help, if they start telling you stories about themselves, throw them away like the trash that they are because they don't care. If you're telling somebody about the abuse that you need help turning in, and all they're doing is interrupting you to tell you how fucking sorry they are, you know what? They're pathetic, not sorry. Big difference. I understand that those words can be used synonymously, but no, you're sugarcoating bullshit here. You're all fucking trash, every goddamn one of you. Every fucking one of you. There isn't a person in this country that I have any respect for. And why don't I have respect for any one of these pieces of shit in this country? Because they're all pieces of shit. There are no good people in this country. There isn't a single man or woman in this country that is not sexist towards men. If a man is victimized, he is told it's his fault for being there. If a woman goes out of her way to do something stupid, it's always a man's fault. Men make women wear that makeup, don't we? We force them at gunpoint to put that horse shit on their face, don't we? We put guns to women's heads and make them dress like $2 hookers when they go to the bar, don't we? That's what men do, don't we? We're all predators who are out to force you to wear makeup so we can rape you for wearing makeup, huh? That's modern America, folks. That's what we're teaching little boys and girls. We're teaching little boys that the only way that they're going to be allowed to have rights at all is if they pretend to be gay. That's right. We have to pretend that we're gay so that we can get equal rights to women. But we can't even call it equal rights. If a man is victimized by a woman, we literally have to blow our fucking heads off to get someone to give a shit. Girls just slice themselves to ribbons for attention. What does a girl do when daddy can't keep his nasty cock beaters to himself? She tries telling mom, and when mom doesn't listen, she strafes herself a little bit with Lady Bick. What happens when daddy can't keep his nasty cock beaters off of his son? His son fucking kills himself, dumbass. It's not a goddamn rocket science. Now, one of the twisted cunts that works at the Seventh-day Adventist, I don't know what the fuck you call it, is here. Obviously, I'm not pointing the camera at her or starting any shit with her because she's not starting shit with me. I think that's a fair deal. But how many of you want a fair deal? How many of you care about a fair deal? None of you. It's either you get what you want right when you want it, or you throw a tantrum. And this is what we've taught every woman in America to do. If you don't get what you want, you throw a tantrum and play fucking victim. If you don't want to do your job, you just don't do your job. If you work in the service industry, and it is your job to help out the homeless, but all you're doing is setting them up for therapy over and over and over again. You're setting them up for failure, and you're fleecing the American public. Now that lady back there who works at the Herald Center, I don't have any hatred for her. She's also not the lady that victimized the hell out of me. She's just one of the other ladies that works there. Now, is it her fault that her coworkers did bad stuff? No, it's not. It is her fault that they got away with it. And I'm going to explain it to you like this. If somebody is raping a child and you see it, it's not your fault that they raped that child. Now, if you don't turn that person in, then every child they rape after that is your fault. You should have said something. You should have been a decent excuse for a human being and turned it in right away. Now, as many of you know, there's this Me Too movement. It's bullshit. All it is man-hating and man-blaming. Male victims are horribly crucified by, well, Me Too. Oh, you were raped? Well, me too. But I have a penis, so nobody cares. You were beaten up? Me too. But I have a penis, so nobody cares. See, someone calling themselves Ricky something or other. Type, what the fuck are you talking about, and are you okay? Well, I'm talking about the way that men are treated in the United States. I'm talking about the fact that I get to listen to veterans tell me what I owe them for rights that I don't have. When it comes to my fellow countrymen, I don't have any respect for any of them. Here's the thing, if women want equality, they need to do equal work. With all the men that have fought hard for women's rights, you'd think that at least one of these women would be grateful and fight for ours. But are they? No. They're telling us what to do, what to think, and what to feel, and how to spend the money that we don't fucking have. And for some odd reason, how is it that so many women in America don't have a budget? They cannot budget their finances. Well, it's because the majority of the women in America in that age group, that's the 18 to 35 age group. These are the women that we taught to mooch off of men. By 35, when they hit the wall and there's no more free shit, that's when they hit the job market. And that's why women are so behind. They don't hit the actual job market until they hit 35. The actual having to work for a living thing. This person typed, how much do a woman cost? Well, that depends on how much you're willing to give up. Women earn about, a little less than 50% of the money here. The reason that they earn a little bit less is because they work less hours, an average of 7 hours less overtime per week. That's average. but they do 80% of the spending. That means that as a male, you only get to take home 20% of that cash. The rest of that money is spent by her. How many guys that I know ended up homeless with their wives because she wouldn't stop spending money? Quite a few. How many of their wives ended up staying homeless with them? Hardly any of them, because hell, if a woman becomes homeless, she's one blowjob away from having a roof over her head.
Yeah, I just went shopping. Are you hungry?
Always.
Cabeza. But I don't have any money. Garage shop. Spend all my money.
I won't hate you. I'm too lazy for that.
What?
I said, I won't hate you. I'm too lazy for that.
I'll give you something to eat though.
Any of y'all who pay attention, you know, I gotta do that streamy and shouty thing because it's the only thing you fucking hear. If I talk nice, I'm not heard. Ricky typed, were you victimized by a woman? A lot of women. This is the United States and I'm not good looking. I've been victimized by a lot of people. I'm different and that's not okay here. It's not okay to be different. People believe that they can punish you into being how they want you to be. If you're victimized, they think that they can punish you into just ignoring it. That's what leads to little girls cutting on themselves and little boys blowing their fucking brains out. 80% of boys who commit suicide tell somebody before doing it. Well, that lady's car is almost as messed up as mine. Anyway, my camera's about to die. I haven't made a penny while out here. Food? I'll take food. I've fed people that don't respect me. That's fine. I've fed people who have different religion than me. That's fine. What I've noticed is that many of these people are not fine with me having a different religion, a different way of thinking. When it comes down to it, they're glad for my blankets, just as I'm glad for the meal. But that don't mean that we respect each other. It means we see each other as human beings regardless of our differences. Thank you very much. I'll probably waste it on coffee and gas. Thank you. Too bad I don't have a drug habit. Now, you all know the difference between like and love. You also know that just because you love somebody doesn't mean that you have to be nice to them. There's a man I know, his wife almost ended up on TV for drowning their kids. Now, why didn't his wife end up on TV from drowning their kids? Because he caught her trying to drown their kids. Does that mean he doesn't love his wife because he called the cops on her? Does it mean he doesn't love his wife because he smacked her over the back of the head with a paddleboard? He did. He legit assaulted his wife for their kids. Now, why is that important? Ricky typed, "Are you homeless? What state are you in?" Yes, I'm homeless, and I'm in Oregon now. But this whole journey started off in, either Colorado or Virginia, depending on when you want to take a look and get started at it. I was in Colorado in 2015 when I hurt my back. I was in Virginia in 2016 when Natalie played victim. I was in Colorado in 2017 when she got her brains blown out. Take a pick where and when. When it comes to veterans, I have no respect for the majority of them. The ones out here on the street, well, I had to lose respect for them too. There's 4 veterans out here in Tillamook on the street who are only interested in rights for veterans, and that's it. Only if you're a veteran do you deserve rights. 2 of them told me that unless you served in the military, you shouldn't have the right to vote. Well, I got to tell you something. All of your logistics come from us. All of your guns are paid for by us. Your uniforms paid for by us. Our labor, our hard work. And when we're injured, we don't get a GI Bill. What we get is fucked up the ass. Oh. Here we got some asswipe. This Ricky guy is just another troll. Oh, and who played victim? Oh, that would be Natalie Bollinger. No, I don't work. I'm disabled. Not sure if you understand what that means. There's stuff I'm capable of doing, but I can't do it while I'm stuck in public being victimized by the public. And that happens daily. Sometimes people come by and give me money, and I'm grateful for it. Sometimes they come by and give me food, and I'm grateful for it. But none of that stops the abuse, and it is ongoing abuse. That's what happens when you tell on and they happen to be police officers or women. You can't tell on a woman. She'll slander your name to everybody that you know. You can't tell on a cop. He'll slander your name to everybody he knows. The United States is a disgusting place. Now, if I see any of these disrespectful wretches being treated in the way that I'm treated, do I speak up? You goddamn right I do. I don't have to respect you to see you as a human being, and I don't have to love you to see you as a human being. I also don't have to be nice to somebody just because I love them. If I see you drowning kids in the bathtub, it don't matter how much I love you. I'm not letting you drown no kids in the goddamn bathtub. Plain and simple. Ricky typed, "How did that lady play victim? This story intrigues me." Well, look up the name Natalie Bollinger. Natalie Bollinger. I wasn't homeless when she was killed. I was stuck at a place where drug dealers owned the place. I had to try to get a court date against Natalie Bollinger and her ex-boyfriend, the child molesting rapist. His name's Tim Beeson. And of course, her child molesting daddy raped her and her sister. And of course, his name is Ted Bollinger. Still breathing. Thank you for asking. Now, of course, when you have your name slandered like that, you don't get over it because people never stop hurting you. You have to have a friend or family member who cares about you and cares to help you turn it in when you're abused. To this day, not a single friend has ever tried that. I've had to depend on strangers to do that. I've paid my friends and family for help, paid them for help, and all they did was take my money. It's because I'm autistic. I have what's called Asperger's. It's high functioning autism. Chances are I have a higher IQ than you do. That's not me saying you're stupid, because you can be highly intelligent and still somebody like me will be more intelligent. We can't help it. So a doctor once explained it to me. He said, all right, so here's how it is with your IQ. You're in the 99th percentile. That means if you're in a room with 100 people, chances are pretty good that you're smarter than 99 of them. As high as your IQ is, you're in the 99th percentile of the 99th percentile. That means if you take the smartest kid out of each of 100 rooms and you put them all in a room, chances are I'm smarter than they are.
So how'd you roll it up then?
But intelligence doesn't denote our life. Being raped doesn't depend on your intelligence. Being beaten doesn't depend on your intelligence. Being slandered doesn't depend on your intelligence. Even an idiot is capable of rape. And even an idiot is capable of being raped. Just because somebody is intelligent doesn't mean they won't do bad shit. And just because they're intelligent doesn't mean that they can't be victimized themselves. There's a lot of factors involved that make it so that a person is more or less of a human being to you. Let's see. Ricky typed this. Natalie Bond was the girl that had a hit put on her and was killed. Yep. So apparently, either you're informed of it or you just looked it up like an intelligent person. If only there were more people that looked it up. If you listen to those stories, they paint me as some sort of a horrible monster. Well, I'm pretty loud. You don't get to kill my friends, get away with it scot-free. You don't get to threaten to kill my friends and family and get away with it scot-free. Except if that a friend or family member who cares, they absolutely do get away with it scot-free. Ricky typed, I looked it up. Holy shit, dude, where did you come from? Most people just watch for entertainment and then troll me. Thank you for looking it up. Oh my god, you've got a dog! Sorry, I like dogs. Now we got to get back to Hamas in the United States here. What's Hamas doing that's so terrible? They're doing the same thing the United States does. We go bomb the shit out of people and destroy all of their natural resources and take it from them for cents on the dollar. We pretend like we're giving international aid, but we demand, well, their resources for cents on the dollar, pennies on the dollar. Americans are bullied, and that's simply how it is.